My family seemed disappointed I finally beat my battle with cancer. It turns out my mom was already celebrating that she was going to be rich when, not if, I die. Here's how I found out. I, a 47-year-old male, was diagnosed with cancer about 6 months ago. I don't know what happened, but I was misdiagnosed. It wasn't malignant as the initial diagnosis. Anyway, I'm recovering. I don't know why, but it felt like my mom and sister weren't all glad about me recovering. I didn't make a fuss, but I told my girlfriend about my observation. She told me not to worry, and they were probably still in shock. We were invited to my mom's house last Sunday, and that's when my 12-year-old nephew was a bit angry and blurted out something about him thinking he was going to be rich soon because I was sick. It felt like a gut punch. I'm child-free, so I don't really know when people start being assholes. But it felt like he's still too young for that. So the next explanation is that he's heard the adults around him? I laughed and looked at my family. They pretended they didn't hear. Only my girlfriend watched me in horror. I asked my nephew why he would think he would get rich when I have my girlfriend. He was confused. I saw my sister turn around at that announcement. My girlfriend spent the rest of the evening holding my hand, caressing it. Mom called the day after, and she was dancing around the subject, trying to find out more. I never discussed my will with anyone, but what were they expecting? I've been with my girlfriend for 13 years. She's the love of my life and my family. WTF is going on? I'm changing my will, excluding my nephews, who I thought I would leave some for. It's going to charity instead. The OP then gave an update later after reading the comments stating, "The message is loud and clear. Marry your girlfriend." In my defense, neither of us have ever thought about it. We're happy, and we've always seen each other as each other's family. Unfortunately, that's probably not how the world sees us, and it's sad. About the will. I'm guessing the majority of you are from the USA, but where I come from, as long as I don't have children, nobody can really contest a will. My mom would be the only person who could contest, and it wouldn't work, since only children's inheritance right is protected by law and can't be willed away. I spent all night yesterday reading your comments with my girlfriend sleeping beside me. She woke up around 3 a.m. and smiled at me. God, I love her beautiful face. I just blurted out, "Will you marry me?" She smiled even more and said yes, and then snuggled up in my arms. I was in heaven. In the morning, she asked me, "Did you propose yesterday?" with the biggest smile on her face, and I said yes. She said, "Finally," with a twinkle in her eye, and then she kissed me. She then told me that she was here when I felt ready to talk about my nephew. I don't have any social media, but my girlfriend does, and she shared that we're engaged. Mom called me 2 hours later to ask if it was a joke. She asked why now, and I didn't hold back. I told her that for the past 10 years or so, I've been treated as a cash cow for my sister and her family, always expected to pay, and only the most expensive things. My sister even insinuated that her oldest son, who is 14, is expecting a Porsche when he turns 18. And instead of acknowledging my generosity, they were disappointed that I didn't die. Mom started crying at this, swearing that it was all in my head. They're all so grateful and happy that I'm fine, but that I shouldn't forget that they're my real family. My girlfriend is still young, and she could move on with her life should the worst happen, but they'll always be my family. Mom said that my girlfriend also has a career of her own and is childless, so she isn't in need. I might add that neither is my sister and her family. I told Mom, well, that my girlfriend always has been part of my family, and now she's becoming my family on paper too. Mom started crying again and asked if I'm planning to disinherit the boys now because of a stupid comment made by a child. And if I did disinherit them, if that also meant I would disinherit my girlfriend's niece. I told her that she should wait for me to die to find out, shouldn't she? She said there's no point talking to me when I'm like this. She begged me not to do anything stupid and wished me good night. No congratulations, nothing. Now what's left is to find my girlfriend. No, my fiancé, an engagement ring. She's very simple and minimalistic. She wants something small and simple. Her only request is that I chose it. Please send any suggestions my way because I'm new to this business. I will put some photos of what I found so far on my page since this sub doesn't allow sharing images. Tell me your opinion and give me your best rings. Imagine anticipating your brother's death as a financial windfall. Ugh, the indignant entitlement. Probably had all kinds of gaudy trinkets on their post-death wish list. Couldn't even celebrate his recovery. So greedy they didn't realize living longer equals more money equals more left to them. Wouldn't be surprised if the 12-year-old nephew is punished for making them fumble the inheritance bag. I hope OP is able to get his finances organized so that when he does pass, there's just enough to take care of his fiancé. And the rest is spent on all the fun things and experiences OP and fiancé want to do. Also, OP, congratulations on the engagement. It sounds like she's a great person and she clearly loves you very much. One thing that I would definitely recommend is buying a ring that doesn't have any kind of sentimental value for anyone else in your family. That way, if anything ever happens to you, she will still have it after you die. and it can be a reminder of what an amazing person you were, if that makes sense. I don't know if it does, but hopefully it does. Also, try not to worry too much about what other people think or say about your fiancé marrying you while they wait for your death. People always find something to talk about, and if they want to be cruel enough to make fun of her or whatever, just ignore them and let them live their own lives however they want. Am I the jerk for going behind my sister's back and taking our deceased mother's wedding dress for my wedding? So I, a female who's 27, am getting married to my fiancé in October. He proposed last February, and we have most of the preparations already set up. The only thing I haven't found, a dress. I have been to many places, and I haven't found something I like. Last month, I asked my sister if I could use our mom's dress, as it was in the style I was looking for, and it was a way for my mom to be there in spirit. Everyone tells me I'm the spitting image of my mother. I have nearly her exact measurements, so I wouldn't even have to alter the dress. My sister said no, since it was a gift from mom to her. My mom passed away when I was 15. She had a long-term battle with cancer. My sister, female 35, had a long-term boyfriend that things seemed pretty serious with at the time and before she passed. My mom said that she wanted her to wear her wedding dress when she got married. However, a few months after her passing, my sister broke up with her boyfriend, and she went years without having any long-term partners. About 3 years ago, she came out as Ace, and has stated many times she has no interest in getting married or having a romantic partner. I asked a few more times, and she always said no. I feel like she's being unfair, as our mom wanted the dress to be worn, and she was also my mother. I was too young to get any big gifts from her when she passed, and I've said that I would return the dress to my sister after the wedding. I even told her I would get a different dress for the reception, and that if I could even have it to just walk down the aisle, I would be happy. She has still refused. Last week, I asked my father, and he started crying because of how happy he was. He told me that my mom would be so happy for me, and that he loved that I was honoring her in this way. My father has kept the dress in a safe spot ever since my mom passed. He brought the dress to my house earlier today, just so we could see how it looked, and so I could store it with my stuff. And it was everything I had ever dreamed of. I looked like a princess, but more importantly, I looked like my mom. Dad said he made the right choice, and that he was happy for me. I just got off the phone with my sister, who called me screaming and crying about how I had no right, and how that was our mother's gift to her. She told me she would never forgive me for this if I wore it to the wedding, and that I was no longer her sister. I love this dress, and I love how it connects me to my mom. But it was my sister's first, and I stole it from her. I might return it based on how this turns out. Am I the asshole? Edit. Info. The dress is not legally my sister's. It was not mentioned in her will. It was with my dad because my mom wanted it to be stored properly. The OP left the following update. So last night, my father texted me saying that he wanted me and my sister to have lunch with him today to talk everything through, because there was some miscommunication on his part involving our mother and what she wanted. My sister has given me permission to update this post. We had lunch, and my dad explained why he thought it was okay. The reason my mother had told my sister she wanted her to wear the dress at her wedding is because her partner at the time had asked for our parents' blessing and had plans to propose to her. According to him, the dress was supposed to be a wedding gift from both of them and as a final goodbye from our mom. Our parents were usually really good at giving us stuff 50-50, even though I was younger. However, since I was young when she died, most of her valuable stuff was bequeathed to my sister. Her car, her mother's pearls, and some fancy dresses that could easily be altered without ruining them. I did get money added to my college fund from her savings, and her favorite purse, so I did get stuff. But our dad got everything else, and our mom instructed him to gift us some of her more important items during our big milestones, so she could still be involved in our lives. After my sister and her partner broke up, our dad assumed that the dress was a part of that deal. Still, even though our mom had talked to my sister about it before she passed, my sister told us the reason she wanted the dress so badly other than sentimentality. She's been trying to get IVF, and she wanted the dress for her future child. Later, when we were talking one-on-one, she also admitted to me that her ex-partner proposing is what made her finally realize she was ace, and that even though she has accepted it, the dress is still a reminder of everything she wants to be able to want to have. Together, the three of us came to an agreement. Since my partner and I have discussed the topic thoroughly and have agreed we aren't having kids, I will wear the dress at my wedding and have it paid to be cleaned afterwards. It will be stored with my father afterwards, and when her future child gets married, they will have access to the dress if them or their partner wants it. My dad also gave my sister our mom's old wedding ring to have. In the end, we came to the conclusion that I was a bitch for going behind her back, but she should have communicated more, and our dad should have told both of us his intentions before giving me the dress. In the end, we worked everything out, and are talking about attending family therapy so nothing like this happens again. Wow. I'm glad that the sister came around to the compromise, but I still think she's being greedy. As described, the sister got several significant things from their mother because she was older, but it sounds like she's attached to getting everything, while OP is left pleading and trying to cut a deal for temporary access. The OP got much less, with her sister getting first grab of whatever she wanted: the pearls, the car, mini dresses, the wedding dress, and now the wedding ring. And OP was only 15, so she also lost out on a lot of special moments with her mother. If any daughter needs to have some of those special items so her late mother can be included in her life and its events, it's OP. Yet she's being left with crumbs, even in this compromise. Elderly Karen kicks my ankle because I'm faking an injury. So, a bit of backstory first. I have about 5 different things wrong with my left foot/ankle, 3 forms of tendonitis, and 2 joints with osteoarthritis in my foot. I also had surgery on this ankle about 2.5 years ago. I deal with a lot of pain and have a very noticeable limp. I'm in pain almost every single day of my life, and currently there isn't much I can do to alleviate the pain. If anyone were to look at my ankles side by side, they can instantly notice that the left one is quite a bit bigger on a really bad day because it swells up to about twice its size. On to the story. This literally happened last night after work. I work 10-hour shifts and range from either being on my feet the whole time to anywhere from possibly sitting most of the day. Yesterday was a very busy day, so I was on my feet the whole time. By the time I got off, I was in a lot of pain, probably about a 9 on the pain scale. When I got off of work, I needed to stop at the grocery store to pick up some veggies to go with dinner last night. I was doing my shopping, and was just getting through the store pretty slowly, as not to cause any shooting pains in my ankle or foot. All of a sudden, this elderly Karen stops me and goes, "I just hate your generation. All you guys do is fake an injury so you don't have to work. Your limo isn't real. Get over yourself." I reply, "Okay," and I tried walking away. I was so exhausted and really didn't care what she thought. I just wanted to get my stuff and leave and go home to ice my ankle. The Karen then walks up behind me and pretends to stumble and full-on kicks my left ankle and blurts, "Oops, sorry." I yelp in pain and am now fully pissed off while also crying in pain. I turn around and say, "Okay, B, look at my ankles. Do you notice the difference in sizes? I'm actually in a lot of frickin' pain. I just got off of a 10-hour shift with being on my feet the whole day and have multiple injuries in this leg." Karen replies, "Well, how am I supposed to know that?" So I say, "You aren't, because we don't know each other. But you decided to make my problems your business by saying I'm faking it and then kicking me." A nice employee walks up after hearing my yelp and commotion and asks, "What seems to be the issue here?" So I reply, "I was accused of faking an injury because my generation sucks and then was kicked in my bad leg." Karen screams, "She's faking it and you can tell she can walk just fine. I didn't mean to kick her, I stumbled and it just happened." The employee then turns to me and asks, "Would you like the police called to file a report?" Karen then goes pale and starts to stutter. I said, "No, I just want this lady to frick off and to finish shopping and to go home." Karen tries to continue pleading her case, but instead got kicked out of the store and I got a discount on my groceries. No big, interesting ending. I also didn't file a report because of the time it would take, and I was in so much pain I just wanted to lie down. I see a lot of people are saying I should have pressed charges. I don't plan to press charges at all because the police in my town are incompetent and just generally suck. Also, big possibility that they would have taken her side because of my age. Also, the grocery store I went to didn't have any cameras. Lastly, I couldn't even remember this woman's face, or if I ever heard a name anyway. I don't think she injured my ankle anymore because this morning there wasn't any bruising and the swelling had gone down from the night before. I really think you handled this very well, original poster. I'm sorry you had to deal with her. I hope you could eventually find some way to lessen the pain. Personally, I would have pressed charges. She could have made your ankle worse.
If you enjoyed these stories, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell. Check out the other videos on your screen right now. Otherwise, you're definitely the jerk.